G'day, g'day. It's the Mathematical KM coming to you with round 8 of the Tuggeranong Open. There was no round 7 as I was tutoring my daughter the night before a math test. So, truly the Mathematical KM. I decided to roll out the hippopotamus, getting back in a bit of practice before a couple of weeks' time we've got a 6-game weekend tournament coming up. Tuggeranong Weekender. So here we go, without further ado. Playing, by the way, a very bright young man, probably about 15, and he's certainly on the way up. So we're fianchettoed on the left and the right. I know Solomon often goes with the D pawn before the B pawn, but that's okay. Block the bishop, block the bishop. He castles, stop one knight coming in over there. Stop the other one. Saw the B pawn, wasn't too worried about it because I've got the ability to Lego it over there. And he's brought 2 pawns, but now we have the official thick-skinned hippo. Okay, let's just get that a little bit different, just so that we can see the move numbers. And from here, well, Lego. Queen comes up, and this is effectively, the Lego was an automatic reaction, but this move I need to decide what to do. And having looked at it all, coming into move 12, could go G5 with tempo and tuck the knight in behind. That's not a bad idea. That's obviously not possible on this side. And that's one of the first things that we look for, so we will indeed go with the G5 push. And looking at the eval, it's not a bad choice. He moves his bishop back, keeping it on that diagonal to G3. Tuck the knight in behind. He's a bit of prophylaxis there. He's not wanting the G-pawn to be able to kick his knight away, but it does create weaknesses. So we'll see how that all goes. Now, we've Legoed it up here. I think castling queenside is going to be a much safer place for my king at this point in time. And Queen F6 looks to be the move. A bit worried about his pawn pushes and such, but the computer's saying it's just fine. But I've gone second best choice, Queen E7, which is going to allow, he centralises a rook. There we go, and that was the top choice. Just about -1 for us. And we're coming up to move 15. He backs his bishop up. And actually, this one, probably the screenshot I might try and get to Solomon and sort of ask for a bit of analysis. I mean, let's try and do a little bit ourselves. But, and it's not the end of the world, but we are up plus 1.5 here. And I would have thought that E5, King B8's better, or moving the rooks, more preparation at the back. I was thinking I can move E5 Get more pressure there, and I was never thinking about taking with this one with all that stuff back there, but I've got a rook, a bishop and a knight and a queen. That's quite a bit of protection for e5. But wasn't the first choice. And to maintain, rook h to e8, just getting another rook in behind, or effectively the same, getting the king off of that light square into b8, getting the king to more safety, still -1.5. The other -1.5 is rook d to g8. And that one's the most interesting one to me. That's getting both the rooks in the g and the h, and no doubt my king's safe, pushing these pawns and attacking. Might take a closer look at that one a little bit later, but for now, it's a blunder. And we go, that's like a 2-point swing. Let's see how we recover from this and how well my opponent capitalises on that blunder. Here we go. It's an inaccuracy. Bishop to d5 was better. Bringing the bishop in. But with the rook there, sorry, the knight has come in. It's too strong. Let's get rid of it. Now he's got his bishop in there. Now it's funny that I was thinking, let's get the queen off of the e file so that that pawn can take if need be, and the queen to f6 was preferred, but I did get it off and out of the way. He's brought his queen, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a bit of focus on that e5. That little e5 move, it's defined the course of this game to a point. And also, I was a little worried about that queen coming in here, being protected by the pawn and getting the queen in, and it would have potentially been just not fun. So a little bit of a defender. The knight's come back. He takes, and what I did think about is, it's not quite ignoring it, it's almost hoping that he'll fall for it. But should that pawn move or take, bishop gets his queen. So he steps out of the pin. But I then had an additional, that rook being an additional piece. And there we go. It's plus 1.5, but a whole bunch of his defenders are gone. His king, I think, is a little less safe. And I've got a fairly well-developed rook out there. Now, he takes that pawn because he can, protected by the queen. Let's get that. These two are a battery, which is a threat on that pawn. And it gives me opportunity to get another piece to focus on that bishop. He moves the bishop away to get more protection on his pawn, so it can't be taken at the moment. The queen's no threat of coming in here at the moment, so let's develop the knight. Okay, the rook comes in. Now, I quite like this move. Threatening his queen. The rook's not going to take it. And if the rook takes it, and by the by, you may have noticed in that big exchange, that flurry of pieces, I am happy that I've got a dark complex for all of my pawns, and his bishop is a light bishop. So in many ways, I like my knight more than he should like his bishop. But on the other hand, he is up a pawn, so we'll see how much that matters. Takes off a set of rooks. That was a mistake, and it's minus 0.7 if I just take his queen now, and that would, and this pawn will end up haunting me. Woulda, coulda, shoulda just taken that queen now, and then it would have only been one set of rooks, and with some open pathways, more likely to get it down to a bishop versus knight matchup that I would prefer. Unfortunately, I just moved my king. His queen's gone back. Let's line my rook up on this one. If possible, other things might fall into play. Pawn forward. Okay, the game's in our favour again. I'm threatening the rook, and also if the rook doesn't move here, I can certainly consider taking that pawn and swapping a knight and a rook for a queen. But my opponent wisely does that. And we're into a phase of 0.00, and it goes like this for some time. This is move 31. 31 through 48 probably. 0.00, so it's a good arm wrestle. So let's go. If I can get the queen to g2, wouldn't that be nice? But anyway, it is threatening his bishop, so he can't just kick it away for now. So the bishop moves, no longer being threatened by the knight. h5, no, it's very close to 0 all the way through. Good moves are being played by both sides. Queen gives more protection there. h4 is best, but of course 0.00. Look at all the best moves are 0.00. That move means that he can't play g3 to kick the knight away. And the knight is on a really good outpost, threatening the g2. So if only the queen could get there. Okay, rook across, threatening the pawn, sort of, not really. I was thinking, if only, can't go there or there, but if only I could get my queen here or here and take that bishop with my rook. And then queen, checkmate. Though chatting with my opponent after the game, he was fully aware of that particular danger. He was a bit worried about it, but he knew about it. And it was a little hard to sort of arrange. Okay, and we have queen looking to come in. It's funny, what's the knight e6? Doesn't totally keep it out. Queen e7. Queen e7 would keep the white queen out, and that's probably would have been the best move. But unfortunately, we have a mistake on move 35. So we're going to recover from this, but it was a mistake. And bishop to g4 would have been the go here, but starts to move his king. I'll move my king. Does that. Trying to get... I was at this point in time thinking, I know he's got an extra pawn, but maybe I can work on killing his pawns if I've got a knight and he's got the wrong bishop and there's no rooks. And the machine liked that move, trying to arrange the rooks to come off. Let's just give it a little bit of time to think about that one. See how old depth goes. Oh, we'll look at it afterwards, but as you can see, minus 0.21. So that was the best move for white. The best move for me is King C8, which I played. It's a great move. Certainly not what I wanted. I wanted to swap the rooks off. And that stops me from swapping the rooks off. It was good, but it's back to flat 0. King to D8, getting the king into the middle and more active, and you'll see why. Yeah, I can... Knowing what's coming, I can see why King D8 was better. What it's worth. I was thinking, should he take my knight with his bishop, I'll take his rook with my rook. And then it'll be a rook versus a bishop, and won't that be good? Words to live and die by. Dying on that hill very soon. Activating his king. And at the end of the day here, the computer's saying that was good, but knight f4 back to the beautiful outpost, beautiful fort. f4 was better. f4 is best. f4, that rook can never get at him, and should that pawn come forward, I've got a pawn that can take it. Basically, so much more solid. And it allowed really quite a clever sacrifice by my young opponent. Well done. It's still 0.00, and we are on move 44. And I get as far as move 48 before... Yeah, we'll look at that. King E2 is best. King C8 is best. King D3 is best. King D7 is best. King takes D4 is best. King E7 is best. Okay, E5 is best. This is move 48. Oh, I mean, you can maybe look, but don't look. Look at the position. Black can hold this. How can black hold this? Just look at the eval for the 3 moves. 0, plus 4.5 for white, or plus 6 for white. And the beautiful little series. Let's get my face out of the way and let's take a look at this. How to hold the position. Back to D8. King comes to E3. Across to F8, keeping the king out. My king's on the dark square that the bishop can never hassle it on. And the king can't come around because of my pawns. It's just solid. King E4. And my rook up to check. King D3. King D7. And it goes on. But it's just white can't get in. And black doesn't need to let him in. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. I tell you what, as a learning curve, it's not so much the hippo. Mind you, that E5 move, there was a hippo opening learning bit there. But in terms of endgame theory, I guess I can console myself a little in that rook G6 is one of the best 3 moves. It's just far and away 6 points worse than rook to D8. So that was a mistake. Great move. King comes in. It's just That was a bit of a mistake. Beautifully done, well executed by my young opponent. So that was quite the game. Have to say the hippopotamus opening did well. And certainly the first part of the attack from it went well. And need to take a closer look at the second pawn thrust, e5, wasn't the go. And we'll have a deeper look in my own study time on the correct way to go. But there was some good fighting after that, and it came back to even. And nice, didn't think that rook to take a knight. Really should have realised that knight was a powerful piece. Shouldn't have offered it up the way I did. But even then, with seeing how that could have been held. So a little more work on the endgame, but much fun was had. And well done to my young opponent. Let's see. Wow. Certainly had my chances. And I am wondering about... Oh, it was still 1.4. But a half chance there. Anyway, that was round 8. Next week is unofficial games. It's a catch-up game for one of the other tournaments. And we'll record what's played, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.